All new at 6, Governor Green signed an executive order this morning allowing caregivers to keep growing medical marijuana for patients. But our Daryl Huff found out some patients will still end up losing access to their medicine.
For years, medical marijuana patients have had 3 ways to get their cannabis: from a dispensary like this one, growing their own, or having a caregiver provide for them. But in just 2 days, when the year ends, the law that allows caregiving is going away.
My fear is that I won't have medication for myself, and then I'm going to have to rely on the dispensary, which I don't trust.
Cancer treatment left Asia Alvario with painful nerve damage, and she depends on a small amount of cannabis to help her sleep.
And at night it gets really bad when it throbs all night, and the cannabis helps.
Alvario and her husband Jesse, who's never used it, did try to grow it themselves, indoors, to be discreet in a crowded neighborhood.
You gotta water, there's bugs, you gotta use certain kinds of products that's...
temperature control.
Yeah.
Air conditioned all the time.
It's just a lot of work.
$1,000 a month in electric.
They help cover the costs for a caregiver who grew just the right quality for her. But like other caregivers, he stopped supplying her because of fear the practice would soon be illegal because lawmakers failed to extend the law.
Everybody's scared, not only him, everybody's scared. They don't want to get in trouble for something like that, especially when they're trying to help patients.
A lot of these patients have already removed their primary caregiver as their cultivator. They've removed their grow site because the primary caregiver was afraid to continue it.
Over the last couple of months, cannabis medicine specialist Dr. Clifton Otto has rallied patients and caregivers to call on the governor to issue an emergency proclamation to extend the law for 6 months. The governor's order issued today didn't go quite that far, but was still a relief.
So I think the intent of the governor's willingness to issue an executive order is fantastic.
In a statement, the governor's office said Governor Green, as a physician, recognizes that the legal changes due to go into effect on January 1 about primary caregivers could lead to negative health outcomes. To address this, Governor Green has signed an executive order directing the Department of Health to not use resources to address situations where a caregiver is cultivating cannabis for a patient within the bounds of the law that exists today. But the order does not extend the caregiver's law, which they rely on.
These primary caregivers are quite fearful of cultivating under any circumstances unless they have that protection. I need to be protected under the law in case I get visited by law enforcement.
How does that make you feel?
It's still lingering. It's still lingering, you know. It's not like a definite, like a concrete thing for me.
Lawmakers are planning to take on marijuana laws again when the session convenes next month. Reporting from Ko'olina, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.